People in here, they've been inside from the start. They haven't had to survive. And they just don't get it. They can't.
The very thing that makes you different is what makes you special.
Now I'm all warm and fuzzy inside.
To fight for this city. To be the symbol of hope that the arrow never was. I am the Green Arrow.
Hello, I'm Karen, and I am here with my cohort in crime, Charles. Hi, Charles.
Thug life.
Just before we went on the air, I was discussing the Thug Life meme videos with Charles. So that's where that came from.
Hello, everyone.
And we are here with a new episode of the Fandom Zone, episode 44.
44.
Coming up on 50. What are we going to do for 50?
We need to plan for that.
We do.
We need to do something special. Like, because we did
special.
that. We did something special on Next Stop Everywhere featuring a certain Karen Lindsay. So I'm thinking we need to do something special on the Fandom Zone.
Sure.
We need to plan this.
What show had a 50th episode?
I will. Well, Arrow's already had their 50th episode.
Yeah, but they didn't do a special thing, right?
No, they didn't do a special thing.
No. We'll have to look into that.
I will. I'll do some digging. Well, yeah. Go. Okay. You research. I'll research, and maybe between the two of us, we can come up with something.
We'll come up with something.
Yeah.
All right. And we'll do like a midweek episode so we don't interfere with the millions of shows we already covered. So we're here to discuss the shows from the week ending the 30th of January 2016.
Playing catch up.
That's right. So we will discuss Supergirl, season 1, episode 11, Lucifer, the pilot of Lucifer, finally.
Yes.
Yay.
And it was a fun little pilot, wasn't it?
It was. Agent Carter, season 2, episode 3, The Flash, season 2, episode 11, Arrow, season 4, episode 11, and the second half of the pilot of Legends of Tomorrow. So, shall we start with Supergirl, Monday night?
Yes, please. Let's do it.
Okay. Season 1, episode 11, Strange Visitor from Another Planet.
Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men.
Strange visitor from another planet.
And who, disguised as Kara Danvers, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way.
That's right. Directed by Glenn Winter and written by Michael Grassi and Caitlin Parrish. Glenn Winter,
yes,
the pilot whisperer.
Yeah, pretty much, because he also directed the Legends of Tomorrow pilot.
He sure did. So, and many other pilots that have succeeded.
So he has 2 episodes he directed this week, only because Legends of Tomorrow was shot a long time ago.
Right, exactly. A long time ago.
Yeah.
Like a year ago.
Right.
So my story titles are, A story is Mighty Morphing. Yes, I know it's Morphin. Power Martians. The B story.
Go Power Martians.
I'm hoping you get this. Emily didn't, so let's hope you get this. Divine young son needs no driver to go west and savagely denies his mother a scot-free apology.
Wow. That's words.
Yeah. Did you get the words that I emphasized, though? Divine, young, driver, west, savage, Scott.
Pondering.
They're all atoms. Adam Devine, Adam
Uh,
Young, Adam Driver, Adam West.
I don't know Adam Devine.
Adam Devine's a singer. Adam Young's a singer. Adam
thought-
Driver is
I,
Kylo
I
Ren.
thought Adam Levine was a singer.
Well, he is a
I don't
singer,
know who.
but I didn't put Levine in the sentence.
Well, who's Devine? I don't know Adam Devine.
He is. I just picked it up.
Okay, I trust you.
Picked up famous Adam.
Okay.
Adam West, of course. Adam
West.
Savage from Mythbusters. Adam Scott from Parks and Rec, and all the other movies.
That's pretty clever.
Thank you. So they're all Adams.
Okay.
Young son needs no driver to go west and savagely denies his mother scot-free apology. And the sentence actually works as the description. Right? Okay. So, and the C story is folded cranes.
Edward Nygma would be proud.
Thank you very much.
All right. So first,
sound effect, but I don't.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So first, the Martian storyline, obviously.
Yes.
White Martians.
All right. So do you want to talk about start with Senator Miranda Crane, or should we talk about go into like Jean, because
I don't mind talking about Amanda Crane a little bit. She's a piece of work.
Yeah.
I don't understand her motivation in this episode. I mean, behind all that.
I'm kind of wondering because they're playing up the anti-alien sentiment.
Right.
And I'm wondering if they're trying to sync up with Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
Because that's playing up the anti-alien sentiment against Superman.
Right. So trying to get some synergy going.
I'm wondering.
You think they're trying to Marvelize a little bit?
Well, there's been speculation that they're doing this DC multiverse.
Yeah.
So
especially after the news.
Right.
That came this week that we'll talk about later.
Yeah, that was some pretty big news, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Very much.
But we won't save that.
Yeah, we'll save that for later.
But so yeah, I think they're kind of introduced it here, and it works well with Max Lord.
Right. You think they're just using her as a conduit to say there are some officials in the government that feel the same way as Maxwell Lord does?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think that also with the way that Miranda, the real Miranda, comes around, that maybe it was intended to give Supergirl a political ally.
Right. Right.
That may pay off later on, like say against Sam Lane, perhaps.
Right. Right. And again, because Sam Lane is also in that camp.
Mm-hmm.
And he believes the DEO is also in that camp.
Right. Or he wants the DEO in that camp.
Right.
He wants to take over.
Yeah. And he thinks that they're supposedly there.
Yeah.
Kind of. They're imprisoning aliens, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so
So the White Martians are introduced.
Of course, while they're at the rally anti-alien, an alien shows up.
Yes.
Because why wouldn't there be an alien there? Because convenient.
Yeah, well, let's see. I'm an alien bad guy. Let's see. I'm going to go to the anti-alien rally.
Right.
Unless it was intended to foster the paranoia.
Right. Now, this is mostly because the aliens sensed Hank from him doing his changey thing last week, right?
Yeah, Jean blames himself for drawing the White Martians there. And we get some great backstory with Jean in this episode, including some flashbacks on Mars, which is awesome.
Yeah, I liked those actually.
Yeah.
I have seen criticism of it, but I liked it, saying that the special effects weren't worth it for the little that was shown, but I really liked it. I thought it was better special effects than we've seen on the show.
I thought so too.
Really?
I mean, because it created like an actual alien world that felt alien.
It did. I thought so. for sure.
And if you're a Martian Manhunter fan, you had to love this episode because
Yeah.
you finally got to see live action versions of Jean on Mars with his family and kids, sadly
Hmm.
that get killed,
Yeah.
but
And it gives you that imagery of like a persecution,
mhm.
the kind of thing that's happened on Earth over and over again. So we get that empathy
And
with him.
and it gives him more depth.
Right.
And you get to understand, at least maybe non-Martian Manhunter or non-comics fans could empathize with Jean a little bit more.
Right. To compare him to something like the Holocaust, a Holocaust victim or
He's
something
a
like they
he's a
made it very
he's a survivor.
right.
Right.
Right. Exactly. And that he had to see his family go through that.
And like Supergirl and Superman, he's the last of their race.
Exactly. So, and I think that he and Kara kind of bonded over that
Right.
in that episode as well. So it was like tenfold that his character developed so much in that one episode, and I really enjoyed it. And I am a huge John Jones fan. I not only have like I don't know a couple of miniseries at least, but I do have a full run of one of his comics. I'm not quite sure which one. It might be volume 2.
Yeah, he's had several miniseries, but then he had a really big ongoing series that lasted for like 3 years.
Yeah, I think that's the one
Yeah.
I have.
It was
I don't have the super early one.
written by John Ostrander, I believe.
Yeah, John Ostrander. That's
Yeah.
the one I have.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really good. I liked it. I think he's a really multi-dimensional character and very interesting.
Right.
And the fact that he is one of the founding members of the JLA and just totally overlooked by most people, I don't understand because he is so interesting and he has such great powers.
But the problem is he doesn't look like kids, so they don't market him.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, I mean, they're only just now getting around to marking Cyborg as a Justice League member.
Right. Right.
So a Martian, and Jean has never like been a big seller.
Still,
But yes,
they could have made it
now
that
now the Justice League Unlimited cartoon helped a lot.
It did. It did because they made him look more human.
And
For
Carl Lumley was great as the
Oh, such a great voice.
Great voice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that helped. I think it's just a question of getting the character into the mainstream.
Yeah, I agree. And I think David Harbour does a good job too.
Smallville helped with that because Phil LaMarr played him there.
Right. He was good.
And but this is doing even more.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we actually get to see him as an alien here, as opposed to just a guy whose eyes glow red.
Exactly. Yeah, and as long as they keep up with him looking decent, that first time with him flying was not great.
No, but it was pretty wonky CGI in my opinion.
Yeah, ever since then it's been good though.
Yes.
But David Harwood does a really good job. His voice is great. His look is great. And they pulled the fast one on us, which I love.
And I'm glad they did because I like him much more as Martian Manhunter than I would have as Hank Haywood. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So I'm great. I love it. And so to see this story with the White Martians, with the backstory, wonderful. Yep. And the fact that they swapped out the White Martian for Senator Crane, genius. I thought, because of course they're going to let her in where they wouldn't let someone else in. And the fact that she gives away who she is by mentioning White Martians. Whoops. Yeah, that was quite a hand, giving away her hand. And then, the fight ensues in the DEO.
Right.
So, and that shows how vulnerable Hank is. So he's great all the time, But
Yeah.
in this case, he almost gives up, and Alex has to come save the day, which I think was wonderful because it means he can count on Alex to save the day.
One of the things I liked about how that resolved itself was that Jean goes to Kara and Alex and says that he basically says that he looks upon them as his daughters, or
Mhm.
and like
Oh, that was
and
wonderful.
and that his real daughters would have loved them.
Right,
They're
right,
they're worthy enough to be his new daughters.
right. And I like that they used at least his daughter from the comics, and then they
Right.
added a second one
Yeah.
so that they could, be
Yeah, because I think in the comics it was a boy and a girl,
okay.
so I think they
I
changed
just
it.
knew one of them was
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, I think it was one was a boy and one was a girl, and then here I think they made it two girls so they could do the daughter surrogate daughters
Right.
comparison.
And they have, the little
And it makes sense. And it makes sense.
apostrophes in their name and everything.
And it gives Jean a good motivation for wanting to look out for Kara and Alex.
Exactly. So the mirror is there, and then the mirror makes it so that you understand Jean's motivation, you understand his bond with the two girls, and you understand also why he kind of folded a little bit during the fight scene, because his vulnerability is there when it
There was
comes to this.
Yeah, there's some fear there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and maybe some trauma, and yeah,
Sure, PTSD
yeah,
big
yeah,
time. I
yeah.
mean,
Well,
of course you would have PTSD
right.
in this case. So, yeah.
But I mean,
And
but this isn't going to be the last of it though,
no,
because
not at all.
they did tease that they had like the White Martian um, came out and said, well, there's thousands of us out there.
Yep. Which
So,
is planting that seed for more to come.
yep.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
And
that be a great season finale? A nice White Martian invasion.
yeah, but we know that's not going to be the season finale
Well, okay, but
because we know what the season finale is going to be, right?
we do.
Yeah.
What's the season
The
finale gonna be?
crossover.
No, that's not the season finale.
It is.
That's episode 18.
Oh.
It's not the
Well,
season finale. It's two episodes before the season finale.
oh. All right. Well, that's good then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that was the
No.
finale.
You see, you're jumping ahead. Nope.
Oh, that's good. All right.
Yeah.
So yes, that would be good
So
to
you
have
should
them invade
get all your news on Damn Good
and
Coffee and Hot.
and Hank to be like all up in the air at the end of the season.
Could
Mm.
be. Could
That would be
that.
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, not nice, but nice.
They may go that route. They may go something completely different, but
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, we're getting Max.
right. Max Luthor.
Right. He's becoming a little more Luthery as the season goes on.
Just a wee bit.
There wasn't a lot of him in this episode, but what there was very Lexi. And then we get Adam.
Yes.
Adam, who was brought to town because Miss Kara couldn't help but be a little Cyrano.
Yes. Well, sort of. I mean, so she wasn't matchmaking between them, but
No, but she was
patching things up.
ghostwriting
Yeah.
a letter for her,
Right.
for his mother. And I think my favorite scene to watch was when they met in the coffee shop and Alex is standing behind them and she's watching them like, what is happening here? But if you watch Alex, it's fascinating.
Right.
Kyler Lee, she played that perfectly, I thought. Like a big sister, like, okay, there's something happening here, and I'm going to have to jump on this.
So do you think, like, Alex is thinking, well, like, wait a minute, nobody hits on Kara. What's up with that?
No, she was thinking, I've got to make this happen because there's some chemistry going on here. Because later on she says, you need to have a personal life. You need to go out with this
Right.
guy. She wants Kara to have a real life. of course, she didn't understand the ramifications of that because Kara having a real life is complicated, to say the least.
As we find out.
Right. In the next episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to because we're catching up. So give us
right. So
we'll get there.
In this episode, though, there's mostly tension between Adam and Kat.
Cats.
Big cat.
Meow. There we go.
And
Kat's getting a little slow in her old age.
Yeah, sorry. I switched it out I had the soundboard on the computer, but it wasn't working so good, so I went back to the tablet. I'm explaining this for the people who listen so that they understand why I'm so slow on the uptake. So anyway, Adam has come to say hi to his mother because the letter was so lovely, thinking that his mother really wants to mend these fences. They go to lunch, and of course, all she wants to do is talk about herself.
Apparently, now, it must have been typed. Because otherwise, she figured she wouldn't... You would think you know his mom's handwriting.
Right.
But...
From Christmas cards she sends every year.
Yeah. So, but...
And she invented all these things, apparently. And she knows all these people. She drops names. She says what she invented. And he's very acerbic, which I like. And I like the fact that he doesn't take her crap at lunch.
No, he calls her out. He's like, well, look, we come here to talk about us, or do we want to talk about, are we talking about you?
Right. And Kat is so not used to that.
Mm-hmm.
She is used to people just taking whatever she dishes out and liking it.
Who are you and what are you doing talking to me like that?
Right. And I loved that. And I guess they left at an impasse, and it ends up that they go back out to eat, and Kara is sitting there in between them. And as they say something wrong and the other one starts to get frustrated, she interrupts and says, "But what you meant to say is..."
Yes.
And it's fantastic. I loved it.
She's like, Kara is Kat's human translator.
Right. Right. And she's doing it the other way around, too.
Yes.
You know, she's translating Adam back to Kat.
Right.
Because Kat doesn't understand human either.
Kat does not speak Adam.
No.
And Adam does not speak Kat.
No. So I loved that scene where she's sitting there, and it's like a tennis match. She's just sitting there like watching, and as soon as the ball goes off course, she is intercepting it immediately.
It's Pong.
Yeah. There you go. But she's that little line in the middle, and it's sticking out. She is catching that ball right in the center. And I think that was one of my favorite scenes, was right there at that dinner, because you could see them. It started off to the side where you could see Adam and Kat sitting at dinner talking. And then the first time you hear Kara, the camera turned, and you could see her sitting there. You couldn't see her right away until she started talking. It was very funny. It was like a slow reveal. And that, that's good direction. And
Glenn Winter seems to have a really great flair for comedy.
Yes.
On superhero shows.
Yes.
Because if you watch the Legends of Tomorrow pilot, which you should if you listen to the Phantom Zone podcast.
Yeah.
He's got a great comedic flair.
He does, yeah. Very much so. And I was actually surprised. We'll talk about it more when we get there, but I was really surprised at some of the humor that was in The Legends of Tomorrow, especially part 2.
Right.
That it kind of went out on a limb for a superhero show.
Which is good. It needs to.
Stuff that, Dude, Where's My Car meets Arrow.
Yeah. So. Well, you've kind of got, the characters are driving the story, as it should be.
Right.
And this particular assortment of characters, we're kind of getting into Legends a little bit, but it just goes in.
Well, we're talking about Glenn Winter.
Yeah.
in particular. So yeah, the Adam, and then it ends up that Adam, and probably a little bit due to the fact that she has facilitated this relationship between he and his mother, and due to the fact also that there's this attraction, has asked her out by the end of the episode, and they have a date.
And Kat says, yeah, she's available.
Right. Which I thought was cute. And I think that they do have on-screen chemistry, and it's not just because they're married in real life. I think they do have chemistry. I didn't see it when they were on Glee, personally.
But here you do.
Here I do, yes.
Okay.
And it helps that they're married in real life, probably. In this case, I don't think the writers really gave them a good storyline on Glee, but I think this is a good storyline. They clicked right away, I thought.
Right.
On this show. I'm kind of sad.
I kind of wondered if they thought that, well, Kara doesn't really have chemistry with Win.
True.
And
except friends.
Yeah.
I believe them as friends.
And Jimmy's got to be this romantic triangle between her and Jimmy and Lucy.
Right.
So they thought, well, let's just try
can't
this.
Be with her when he's with Lucy.
Right.
They wouldn't do that on this show. So, okay, so that's where they leave off with Adam. He's building this relationship with Kat, and he's starting a relationship with Kara. And then we have at the end of the episode that
cliffhanger.
That Kara has saved the day as Supergirl, but it's not Supergirl.
Well, she doesn't quite save the day. She shows up to save the day, but then yeah, there's this car that's dangling precariously off the bridge. Yeah. And Supergirl with the freaking laser beams on her head.
Right. Not such a good job as Supergirl.
No, she shows up and instead of you think she's going to rescue the car. Well, guess what? She's then takes the car and flings it away.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Let me ask you a question just before we move on to Lucifer.
Yeah.
Do you like this new thing that they're doing with starting the next episode right at the end?
Yes.
I do too.
It feels more like a comic book.
It does to me too.
Because you're setting up, I mean, they used to do this with the Batman TV show back in the 60s.
Exactly.
For those old
right
folks like me, but that watched them in syndication. I didn't watch it live, but I watched
Tune in next time.
Yeah, tune in next. But they would set up the next to get you like hooked so that you would come back, and that's great.
Right. I am really liking it. Really liking it. They did it the 2 weeks ago with Maxwell Lord seeing in the camera that the sisters were sisters, and then they did it this week.
Yeah.
For this episode, and then they did it again.
They do it on the Flash, and they do it on Arrow too.
Yeah, I love it. I really love it.
Yeah, it's great.
So, okay, on to what's our rating?
Yeah. My rating is that I really enjoyed this episode, probably because of it was so much with the Martian Manhunter, and I just loved that. So I give this one pretty high. I gave this one 8.5 out of 10 cars tossed from a bridge.
Nice.
And you?
8 chaperone dinners.
And Kara makes a good chaperone, I guess.
She does.
She does.
Well, she had to hold them back from each other. So, okay, Lucifer, the pilot.
Yes.
Before we start, did they change out the song to a David Bowie song?
No.
That was originally in the pilot.
Fame was in the original pilot.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I thought
that was awesome, by the way.
I posted this on Twitter that I know that in 2015 when the pilot leaked onto the interwebs, and I watched it.
Yeah, me too. I just couldn't remember, and I don't have it anymore.
Somehow I watched it. Yeah. But I know that they had it in the original version,
Right.
So when the broadcast version just aired, and that's just days
Yeah.
after David Bowie passing, and I posted this on Twitter. I was like, I know it was before, but damn, what timing!
I know. It was a lovely tribute, actually.
It worked out really well. I know that wasn't intentional,
Right.
but yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty cool, though.
I'm sure
And
a lot
I'm
of people are going to
hoping,
think it's intentional, but it works
you know,
really well.
I'm kind of an atheist, but I'm kind of hoping if
Yeah.
there is an afterlife that it doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? It's called Lucifer.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but anyway, so now we're talking about Lucifer the pilot.
You might want to hedge your bets just in case.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm pretty sure my fate is sealed there. The pilot of Lucifer, directed by Len Wiseman, who did the Underworld franchise and Live Free or Die Hard, and written
Yep.
by Tom Capinos, who is famous for Californication.
Right.
You have anything else that they've done?
I know that Len Wiseman directed the Total Recall remake.
Yeah, I didn't put that down.
Yeah, I don't blame you because
Total Recall.
yeah. It's Total Recall with Bullseye.
Right. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Colin, oh, what's his last name? Farrell?
Oh, Farrell, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Who was great on True Detective.
Sure, but
season 2, he's like one of the only things great about True Detective
One-
season 2.
probably the only good thing
No,
about True
no. What's her name? The lead actress. I'm forgetting her name. She was in Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr.
Mm,
You know who I'm talking about?
mm-hmm.
Okay, I can't remember.
And now I can't
I'm blanking.
remember.
But she was great too.
Sure.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, she was okay. Colin Farrell was the bright spot, though,
Yes.
of that season.
And there
The
wasn't
whole
much.
first season was great.
Yes, that's a whole separate thing. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So Lucifer the pilot, I have the key to the story, and you'll probably get that.
Right.
And I'm talking about where the whole story comes from.
Okay.
So the key.
The key being
Right?
the key to hell.
Right.
Meaning Season of Mists from Sandman.
Right. So we're going to talk about kind of like what the plot, the overarching plot is.
Right.
Watch who's killing. Haha.
Yeah, I got it.
And then why Delilah is my other. Yeah, Tom Jones. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so sorry about that. Did that come through?
Yeah, it did. That's okay.
Sorry.
A slight malfunction.
That was my boobies hitting the microphone.
Hey now.
It was. All right. Hold on.
Oh yeah. No. That's Dr. Linda.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right, so
that should be the Dr. Linda theme.
So the key to the story, let's explain a little bit about Lucifer for people that might not be familiar with the character.
Right.
He was created by Neil Gaiman for Sandman. Well, okay. He was created by God.
Well, the comic book version.
The comic book version was created by Neil Gaiman.
Right.
And the story is, and I'm just going to skim it.
Yeah.
He decides that he's done being the keeper of hell.
He's had enough. He's bored. He wants to leave.
He wants out. So he shows up and he gives Dream, Sandman.
Morpheus.
He gives him Morpheus. He gives him the key to hell, and he says, "Do what you want with it. I'm out.
Peace out. Peace out.
I'm going home.
Ski guys. I'm leaving hell."
Right. And he goes to Earth. Now, he's still immortal.
Right.
He's still a fallen angel and all that, but he doesn't want to be the keeper of lost souls or whatever. You know, he doesn't want to be that anymore. So what it does is it starts this whole process of Dream, because he can't do the job. Dream has to find the new keeper of hell, and it's this whole big thing where Dream is pissy about it and all emo, and
Because he's always pissy and emo.
he is essentially, but this makes him way more emo and pissy. And really, it's just a horrible situation for him, and all these people converge on his castle, and he has to like interview people who want the job.
And then ultimately he ends up giving the key to a couple of angels,
right,
named Remiel and Duma,
who are not happy.
No, they get stuck with this.
There.
They're stuck with this.
Right, they were sent there.
And they can't enter. They can't go back to the Silver City, meaning heaven.
Right. So essentially, they were given the same process as Lucifer was, is they were sent.
Right. And they're basically like, what the hell? Literally.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Thanks, God.
Exactly. So they were, the next fallen angels.
Thanks, Dad.
Exactly. And see, that's what Lucifer was.
Right.
Was fallen angel, and he had enough. And then he got his own comic book, Lucifer.
75 issues written by Mike Carey.
That's right.
Yep.
And Mike Carey wrote, didn't he write part of Hellblazer?
He's, lots of people have written Hellblazer.
Right.
Mike Carey is one of them. He had a pretty good run on Hellblazer. He's also written X-Men Legacy, some other things that I'm blanking on, but yeah.
Don't worry about it. I just remembered him from Hellblazer.
But yeah.
Okay. So.
But this is the comic that he's most widely known and appreciated for.
Right. And I think it's interesting to see because these angels that were sent to hell, they obviously don't want the job.
Right.
And they still don't want the job. And Lucifer is happy.
Right. Yeah, he's set himself up. He's got his nightclub. He sits there and plays piano at the nightclub. And just like in the comics, it's called Lux, which is Latin for light, for those who are wondering.
Right. Well, morning star.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
But that's why he chose the name. But
right.
He's the light bringer.
And of course, his bartender is, and I can't say her name.
Mazikeen, but
Mazikeen.
Or maybe they might pronounce it Mazikeen here, but they shorten it to Maze. I'm sure we'll get the full revelation later.
Right.
But they just call her Maze here. But really, what she is, she's one of the demons from hell.
Right.
That accompanies Lucifer back to the mortal plane.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm doing a gesture.
Yeah. Now, on the TV show, she doesn't have this, like, half ripped off face.
No, she doesn't. I was doing that so I wouldn't say it on the air.
It's a half ripped off face. But
no, she only has one. In fact, when
she spoil it, it's out there. It's
okay. When she's in the comics, she talks like only half of her mouth is there.
Because she has no lip on.
Right.
And she kind of slurs her words a little bit.
Right, exactly. But she looks normal in this, obviously, because she's on Earth, and I'm sure, there's some sort of a glamour being applied to her.
But then she gets better.
I got better.
Yeah.
So that's the background. And now I'm guessing we get that overarching story because now that angel that shows up, is that one of the two angels?
Amenadiel. I don't know because I've only read like the first 12 issues. I got the first like book 1 trade paperback recently. And I read that. Amenadiel wasn't in that. But maybe he is later. I don't know.
Okay.
But essentially, what Lucifer the series boils down to, the comic book series, is you've got Lucifer kind of having to deal with the machinations of heaven going on. You've got angels with agendas, and they're not happy that Lucifer has left hell. They want him to go back to hell. And there's all this like.
I don't know that they particularly want him to take his mantle back up because there is someone there, but he's doing things on Earth that
And
they don't
and
want
and they've
him.
got longtime grudges because
Right.
he was the first of the fallen, and yeah,
Right. That they just don't want him loose.
yeah,
It's, I think, their big beef.
yeah. And here on the TV show, this Amenadiel, he's like apparently hated Lucifer forever,
Forever. Right.
and it's not going
So
away anytime soon.
we'll find that out later, I'm sure.
Yeah, but
So
yeah,
we're going to get that overarching storyline, and then we're going to get a story of the week.
yeah, they decided to take the bare bones of the Lucifer comic, and smush it together with a police procedural.
Right.
And
Now,
that's kind of pissed off a lot of comic
we'll
fans.
find out how that works.
Yeah.
So far in the pilot, I kind of dug it. I mean, the case of the week wasn't.
Right. It might get a little tiresome, but if they keep building up the mythos,
Then cool.
then that would be, I think that would go a long way.
Right.
'Cause
I do like how he uses his powers in the course of solving the case of the week, though.
Right.
It's very cool. And I like how Delilah just doesn't care. You know, she gives absolutely no Fs.
you mean Chloe?
Chloe?
The cop is
Her
Chloe.
name?
The cop is Chloe.
Oh, okay. Who's Delilah?
Delilah is the singer that gets killed.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's all right.
I got the names mixed up.
That's okay.
All right.
That's why I'm here.
Thank you. Okay, so Chloe doesn't give.
Yeah, 2 Fs.
Yeah. 2 Fs.
2 Fs.
Yeah. So Chloe is just not affected whatsoever. And I'm wondering if we'll find out more about that. Obviously, there's something going on there. Why she's not affected.
Yeah, why she apparently has this immunity. We don't know why, but apparently there's a reason. Or, this could be just all Lucifer's father's doing.
Could be.
For whatever reason.
Putting something in his way.
Or just to kind of pairing him off with someone who can handle him.
Could be, yes.
So,
or to tick him off.
Yeah.
Which would be funny.
Right. And that immunity is what has its comedic moments. So, yeah.
Right. So they're together, and he is puzzling through the whole Chloe situation as well. And watching Chloe watch him do all this stuff is also very funny. And then, it all culminates with him using his powers to save her life. And she finally gets it. That
reluctantly.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
You're immortal. You took bullets for me.
Well, she's not quite sold on it yet.
No,
but she is. There's that room for doubt now. She's kind of like, because she does see it when she sees Lucifer taking the bullets. She's kind of half out of it.
Right.
From blood loss.
Right.
But so
Yeah.
she's kind of questioning.
Right. But she
eventually she'll come around.
She thinks more than 50% that he took bullets for her.
Right.
And there's that. Did that really happen?
Right.
Is that a thing? And her kid is adorable.
Yeah.
And she's married to Sebastian Blood. And
Trixie.
Or ex-married.
Yeah. Now they did recast.
Oh, is he not going to be Sebastian Blood anymore?
No.
Oh.
No, he's the recasting.
Oh, okay.
The guy in the original version was played by a different actor. I should have wrote it down, but he was played by a different actor. Now it's played by Kevin Alejandro.
Okay.
Who's playing
Who was Sebastian Blood in Arrow.
Who was Brother Blood in Arrow.
Yeah.
And also he was on True Blood.
Yeah, okay. So true Sebastian Blood.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I knew I recognized him from somewhere, and then I looked him up, and I'm like, oh, that's where.
Yeah, he's one of those, that guy.
Right. Yeah. As soon as I saw it, I knew who he was.
But here he's a complete douche.
He is. Really.
Yep.
And that scene where Lucifer goes and talks to the bully was hilarious.
And that anything with Lucifer and Trixie was gold.
Oh, I can't wait to see more of them together.
Right.
She's adorable, and you can tell that he genuinely likes her.
Yeah. I like the way that you were talking about the mean girl.
Yeah.
He just walks up to her and goes, "Hello, mean girl."
I know, it's so great.
And you know what's coming.
Yeah, that he's gonna make her see something horrible.
Yeah. And it's
So
you're just enjoying it. Because
She
who
deserves
doesn't like to see a mean girl, especially one that's
Get some comeuppance.
picking on a cute kid like Trixie.
Exactly.
Get
She
her too.
deserves it, right?
Yep.
That's gonna stop her in her tracks.
The devil's giving her his due. Or her due.
In person.
Person, yes.
And then, the case was a case. They worked through the clues, and it had to do with the watch. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, a girl that he had helped through regular means, not through his supernatural powers,
Right.
was killed in the process. And that's mostly why he got involved, because it was someone that he cared about. And he was affected by her death.
Yeah, because right before her death, of course, he tells her to get her life together.
Right. She came to him to say, "Did I make a deal with the devil because all these bad things are happening to her?" And he says, "No, you're doing this to yourself, so cut it out."
Right.
And then they go outside and she gets shot, and that's what makes him fall into this case. And I think going through this case with Chloe is what's making him decide that he's going to throw himself into all this.
Right.
And of course, I think Chloe is the big mystery that he has to solve.
Yes.
What is this woman?
Right.
So that's going to be the fun part.
One thing I didn't expect about this case, you figure, okay, it's a case of the week. The bad guy, who gets his due, I won't say how, you figure, okay, it's just a one-off.
Right.
But apparently, he's in episode 2, which we'll talk about next week. Yes. So, and
yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
And I have, and it's a pretty important, to the overall mythos.
Cool.
So I won't, spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it for me.
I'm not
I'll
going to spoil
watch
it.
it.
But that this guy, there's more. You figure, okay, we've seen the last of this guy. No, you haven't seen the last of this guy. So yeah. So yeah. So now you got to know what happens.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. So what's your grade?
My grade is 8 out of 10 spinning levitating coins.
And I knew you were going to use that, so I didn't pick it. I give it 9 peeved demon bartenders.
Yep.
Because she is peeved.
Yeah, we're gonna need to see more of Maze.
Yes, very much. I like her.
Because Maze is not happy that Lucifer is hanging out with the humans.
Yeah, she doesn't like that.
Yeah, she wants him to be like he's the devil, and he should always be the devil, and that's the way it should be.
Exactly. And I did also like what was going on at the beginning of the episode with her under the bar.
Oh, yes. Now, wasn't that a surprise? Oh yeah.
It was actually,
and it was done really well to get that on network TV.
I know, it was.
And
she
actually
said, "The demon can't get."
I'm amazed that got on.
Yeah. I am too. So anyway, the less said about that, the better, right?
Yeah.
So next on to Agent Carter, and we're just going to skim this Agent Carter. Episode 3, Season 2, Better Angels, directed by David Platt, who has worked on Suits, Law & Order SVU, Law & Order Regular, and The Wire. Written by Jose Molina, who has done so many things, but Sleepy Hollow, The Vampire Diaries, Firefly, Haven, Castle, and many.
That's why you know him.
Well, no, but Firefly.
Okay.
He works with Nathan on a bunch of stuff, actually. Okay.
Got it.
I think he worked on Drive as well.
Is he like his go-to?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
He's like the TV version of Joss Whedon for Nathan.
Got it.
So, my ABCs. Whitney, acting skills 0. He's living in a material world.
Mm-hmm.
And Carter jumps into the arena.
Okay.
So, Whitney.
I like those.
You like those?
Those are very good. I get it. I actually got those.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, see, if you don't get them, that's good too.
Okay. Because that shows how much cleverer you are than me.
But no, these are kind of clever. No, not cleverer than you. No, but these are funny, I thought. Okay, so Whitney and the zero-ness of her.
Yeah, real quick. She basically is starting to figure out what's going on with this zero matter that's kind of embedded in her forehead.
And throughout her body too, because it absorbed into her finger.
Right, but
when she saw it.
It manifests itself on her forehead.
Right. That's where she saw it. Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, the whole thing with her in this is that she kind of like she kind of starts to experiment with it a little bit, and she ultimately has this big little I want to say this accident that happens when this director that's giving her crap and telling her that she's getting older and whatnot, that the studio wants. Now the director says, "Oh, I'm trying to go against the studio to keep you here, but the studio wants to get rid of you because you're getting older, wants to replace you." But then he starts putting the moves on her.
Yeah.
And that kind of
which is unwelcome.
Yeah, slightly, especially when you've got zero matter embedded in your forehead, which all of a sudden like pours out of her and consumes the director and just is like sucks him right up.
Yep, poor twin.
Gulp.
He's out.
Yep. So he's done.
Director twin is gone.
And this is after, of course, like she's working with this Calvin Chadwick guy.
Right.
Her husband.
Her husband.
Her husband. Yeah. So he's running for Senate to be senator.
Right.
And he needs her because everybody likes her. So.
And so she is part of
she's the face.
His public persona.
Right.
Yeah. So she is finding out that she has these powers, as it were, through this zero matter. And that's,
of course, they're up to the shady stuff with the council.
Right. Right. Yeah, that in the arena.
Yes. Yeah, in the arena club. There's a great sequence with the arena club where you've got Peggy, Jarvis, and Howard Stark, who Dominic Cooper is back as Howard Stark.
So great in this episode.
So great. Now, I didn't. Real quick aside, the first time we see Howard Stark again, he's on set, and Peggy and Jarvis show up on set as they're filming, which I thought was cool, an adaptation of the Kid Colt comic book. And Kid Colt is a Marvel Western superhero from the 1950s. Not really a superhero, but a Western hero from the 1950s.
Like a pulp hero.
Yeah, exactly. Because like in the 1950s, like superheroes weren't as in fashion, and westerns and cowboys, that was huge back in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of took over, and so Marvel started doing like Western heroes. But this is before the modern Marvel universe was born in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool that they incorporated this character.
Right, a real life.
This way.
Book. Yeah.
So I thought that was
It's very cool.
And so he's directing it. They walk into the set. They ruin the shot. And it's just...
I love it.
I love that. So here...
But, he's pretty unflappable even still.
Yeah.
He's so laid back. And hyper at the same time.
Right. Yes.
Which I dig.
Yeah, because he's... Yeah, well, first they go investigating the arena club.
Right.
And getting back to that. And while Peggy's there. She finds the secret room because, of course, they have a secret room.
Of course they do.
And while Stark and Jarvis are like distracting everybody with like all these girls that they bring into the No Girls Allowed club.
And you know what? I was kind of sad to see sexism back because I thought we'd gotten past that.
But it's so predominant, though.
I know.
It doesn't. It's a predominant thing, especially until the 1960s and 70s.
I know.
So yeah.
I thought we'd moved on to racism.
Mad Men made a whole series about it.
I know.
So yeah,
Did you not
I
catch?
know. I know. We've moved on to racism from sexism.
Sorry.
I got you. I see what you did there. There's plenty of social issues to go around, especially in the 1950s. You've got sexism, you've got racism, you've got paranoia of everybody being a communist.
Right.
So which plays into things.
Nuclear paranoia.
Nuclear paranoia, exactly. So there's plenty of stuff to cover here. So anyway, Peggy discovers, but later unable to prove, that the council has blackmailed Chadwick's senatorial competitor into dropping out of the race. Now, Jack Thompson is in from the East Coast.
Why?
And being a tremendous dick.
I'm so angry that he's in California.
Yeah, he's basically there to complicate Peggy's life and make it horrible.
Again, with the sexism.
Yeah, and like
trying to send her back.
Thompson's like wants to blow it off. Peggy calls him out in a great little scene, but then Thompson's like, "Well, fine, you're on the next plane back to New York, baby."
Mm-hmm.
Toots.
Huge dick.
Yeah.
Huge.
So, anyway.
He's the worst.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. I mean,
of course, Wicks.
Oh yeah, Wilkes. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, Wilkes. Sorry.
Yeah, we just should cover that. There's like this gravitational anomaly around Peggy.
And they think it's her.
They think it's her because these floating objects are like, like pens and stuff float around her. And so, of course, she gets checked up by Howard Stark.
But it's because she has a shadow, almost literally a shadow.
Yeah. Me and my shadow.
Yeah. It's Wilkes. It's hanging around.
Yeah. Wilkes, who we thought was dead, but of course we didn't think he was dead
because
there was never a body.
No.
So he's not dead. Turns out he's a ghost.
That's right. Shaggy.
Ruh-roh.
So they put this solution on him that conveniently.
Yeah, it's like they're watering the plants. Psh, 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 psh.
Conveniently, Howard has invented.
Yeah, because he can do anything because he's Howard Stark.
Of course.
He's magic.
And I like the scene where he can't talk, so he sprays it on his vocal cords, and he's like, and then he tastes it himself, and he goes, "It's not that bad."
So I'm thinking, okay, well, after wouldn't that wear off, and he'd have to like respray himself?
You'd think
to keep talking,
right? After it vibrates off.
Yeah, or whatever. But maybe it coats him really good.
Yeah, hand wave.
Yeah, hand wave. But yeah, so they basically restore him to like at least the ghost form so they can see and talk to him. And Stark's vows to like, okay, I'm going to try and restore your physical body.
Right. So now, apparently he's staying put there.
Yeah.
At the Stark mansion.
He's kind of stuck there because, I mean, where else is he going to go? Because it's like, okay, I got to stick with a guy who's going to give me my body back.
Right. So now he's not going to shadow Peggy anymore.
Right.
He's going to hang out at the mansion.
Yep.
So.
And meanwhile, they're trying to frame Wilkes. They paint him as a spy. They
find Russian spy.
Yeah, like oh, there's this hidden cachet they find of like Russian passport, cash, airline ticket, and Peggy's like, I'm not buying that.
Right. Which of course, why?
He's framed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Convenient.
So what's your rating on this one?
My rating is 8 surprise accountants, and here's why I say surprise accountants. The man who played Torrance in the Arena Club, his name is John Balma, and he played one of my favorite accountants ever on
Yes.
Parks and Rec. And he is so funny on Parks and Rec. So if anyone recognizes him as the accountant on Parks and Rec, he's fantastic. He had a recurring character on there. He kept trying to hire
Line.
what's Leslie's boyfriend's name?
I don't know. I don't watch the show.
I know. They're the big couple.
Just say Leslie's boyfriend.
Leslie's husband.
Okay.
Kept trying to hire him over and over, and he would quit. Like something would come up, like he'd get hired for something else, and he'd quit almost immediately. And he just kept trying to hire him over and over, and he just quit every time. So it was funny, but I loved seeing him in this. So what is your score?
I give this one 8 out of 10 hidden floor caches.
Very nice.
So
we were both on the same wavelength. 8s.
As we typically are.
It was a good episode.
It was a good episode.
Okay, The Flash, and this blew my mind.
The Reverse Flash returns.
Directed by Michael Alowitz and written by Aaron Helbing and Todd Helbing.
The Helbing brothers.
Are they brothers?
I don't know. I'm guessing so.
I am too.
But basically, they're the guys who write the big episodes on The Flash.
They are.
Especially ones that involve the Reverse Flash.
Right. And this was huge.
Yeah.
This has such implications.
It does. It does.
So, okay. A Story, Back to the Future, and duh, why would I not pick that as one of the titles?
Back to the Future!
Right. And I couldn't think of a better name for the B story. Iris is less irritating than Wally. The C story, CSI PTY, Patty. And the bonus is Hunter Solomon, question mark, exclamation point, question mark. So.
Maybe we should have called it Wild Wild Wests.
Oh, that's good.
See?
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, I can do it too.
I
can do things. I'm smart, not like everybody says.
You don't ride the short bus. That's good. But Iris was much less irritating than Wally. And it continues on to the next week's episode as well.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked about that yet.
Yes.
Okay, so seriously, Back to the Future. We get Eobard Thawne back, as we saw from the last episode.
Yeah, and it's not the Harrison Wells Eobard Thawne.
No.
This is the classic Matt Letcher version.
That's right. This wasn't new Eobard. You know how Coke went
Eobard classic,
which was bad.
Yeah.
And then they went back to classic Coke, which was, see, there you go. He's holding up his Reverse Flash figure. Yeah, so, and then there was this too. A regular Flash figure. Okay. Now, here's the deal.
Yes.
Before he came back in time and assumed Harrison's body,
right,
there was Eobard by himself. And that Eobard came back in time to... Why did he come back in time that time? Do we know why?
He's had run-ins with the Flash. And they kind of go through this a little bit because this episode is essentially the origin of the Reverse Flash, sort of.
Right.
At least the origin of the Reverse Flash's hatred with the Flash.
Right. So I'm wondering why he came back. There must have been something that happened.
There's like a explanation where Thawne reveals his Flash obsession, that he recreated the accident, became the Flash in the 25th century.
Right.
But, he learned that, oh, by the way, I'm destined to become Barry's greatest enemy. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I could be Barry's greatest enemy. And so he kind of embraced it and decided, okay, I'm going to face the Flash.
And so I'm guessing he goes back in time to try and figure out what he can do to subvert the Flash from the beginning. Okay, so this is his fact-finding mission. We'll put it like that.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and they describe this as a time remnant, as something that happened before he went back in time.
Right.
So it can still exist.
Yeah, it's timey-wimey. Basically, they're just saying, okay, all that stuff that happened in season 1, this is the reverse Flash from before that.
Right. And it makes perfect sense.
Right.
Because, why wouldn't it happen?
That way it doesn't negate it.
Right. Exactly. So if for all that stuff to have happened, he has to have done this.
Yes. It's what's known as a bootstrap paradox.
Exactly.
If you watch Doctor Who.
Exactly. Which they should.
Or listen to Next Stop Everywhere.
But they should do either or both of those if they listen to us here.
Yeah, bootstrap paradox, yeah. Something creates itself by going back in time.
Right.
That's the simplest explanation.
Because it has to.
Yeah.
Because it
did.
Back in time.
Because it did.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so, and this is where it starts to blow my mind, because when he does all this, he starts learning things that become his literal origin story.
Yeah.
He sees Barry Street, number 1.
Right.
So he knows where Barry lives.
Yeah, it's like, oh, great. Yeah, thanks for creating me, guys, because everybody's just treating him like crap.
Right.
Because he treated them like crap in the future.
Right.
His future.
Exactly. And he learns who the Flash is, that it's Barry.
So if everybody would have just been chill, Barry's mom would still be alive.
Exactly. Yeah, he vows to learn Barry's name. Isn't that what the deal is? He learns his face and that he's the Flash, and he vows to learn his name, which is not that hard to do. He can just look up.
Right, because he's from the future.
Records.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that hard.
Right. Harrison Wells, he vows to find out who he is.
Right.
So there's that.
So Harrison Wells, I might want to keep an eye on this guy. He may come in handy someday.
Right. He learns about Star Labs intimately and the technology there.
And the tachyon machine.
Because they use that technology to send him back to his time.
Back to the future.
Again, he knows about that because he has to use it again later.
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody got that?
Right. He learns about Cisco and his close relationship to Harrison.
And his special abilities.
Right. Well,
the vibe powers. Yeah.
Right. And Cisco pretty much tells him everything about the tech there in a vague way.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to dude, you did this and you suck and blah blah blah.
Right, but he tells him everything, which is the dumbest thing ever, right?
Well, Cisco does this on a pretty regular basis.
I know.
If Cisco was a mute, everybody would be a lot better off.
I agree. So he is learning everything he needs to know to come back later on, assume Harrison's identity,
right,
and to kill Barry.
Yeah, you keep waiting for Eobard to hold on, let me get a pen, write this down.
Right.
Okay, Harrison Wells, blah, 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 and and Cisco's got powers and blah 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 blah. Yeah.
And he knows the layout of Star Labs, so that he can put in that little area for himself.
Oh, and there's this great particle accelerator, and yeah, that's great. Got it.
Exactly, and he can do the research into the fact that Harrison Wells builds this thing that explodes in the timeline, and okay. Yeah. So
Stephen Moffat would have loved this episode,
and it literally blew my mind because the ramifications of this episode go all the way back to the pilot.
And so basically, Barry Allen and Cisco are responsible for Barry Allen's mom getting killed.
Exactly. Harrison Wells too, from Earth 2.
Mind blown.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Exactly. Yeah. That if they had just sent him back to where he came from and not said anything.
Right. Everybody would have been fine.
Period.
The end. But no, they don't. They had to rub it in.
They were dumber than
A
the
box of
villain
rocks.
that monologues.
Yeah, exactly.
Dumber than a monologuing villain.
Yep.
Right?
The syndrome from The Incredibles.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have Wally and Iris, the Wild Wild Wests.
Wild Wild West.
Very
Wild
nice.
Wild West. Yep.
Seeing Francine in the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and Wally is all emo and pouty
Yep.
about it, even though he's the one that wanted them to admit that Francine was like important, and now all of a sudden he's not seeing her in the hospital anymore. So what is that turn of events? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that at all.
Well, it's just more frustration with Wally. The way he's depicted that, Iris has to beg him to go see his mom.
When he is supposedly the one.
Right. Like, I'm drag racing so that she can have medicine.
Right. But he doesn't want to go and see her.
But I don't want to go see her. What? I don't get it.
Right. Me either.
Yeah.
So this is puzzling me, the storyline.
Yeah.
And
Wally is very unlikable.
Very unlikable.
I mean, unfortunately they're basing him off the new 52 Wally West as opposed to the traditional Wally West in terms of personality, and it's not working.
No. And it's sad because Wally West is my favorite Flash. But this is
not that it couldn't it won't get better.
Right.
But for right now, it's very annoying.
It's making me very angry with Wally.
Yeah. You just I should not be hating Wally West.
And I do.
And I do.
I really, really do.
Yeah.
He's annoying.
And I say this because even though Wally West is my favorite character.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And
I should not be hating my favorite character.
He's contradicting himself. It's like he's contradicting himself just to be contradictory.
Right. He's all like, I have to be, like the young punk,
Right.
That you can't tell me what to do, blah blah blah.
You're a detective. How come you didn't detect me?
Yeah, and he's all snotty, and it's just like, we don't need that.
I'm going to see my mom. Well, now that you're going to see my mom, I can't go see her anymore. It's that sort of. So he's irritating. I like that Iris went back to see her mom and she forgave her. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That Joe went back in to see her again. That's great.
Right.
A nice closure for them. But Wally's irritating. That's pretty much all I have to say about that storyline.
Yeah, that's all it deserves.
Until the next week, which is pretty much all about Wally, which irritates me even more.
Yeah, that's a whole So stay tuned for episode 45.
Stay tuned for the ranting.
Yeah, because that's going to be a good one.
So now we have CSI PTY, which is Patty, who runs off to fulfill her destiny, which is outlined in the comics.
Oh, Patty.
Yeah, but this is what her job is in the comics, so...
I know, but...
That's good.
I have no problem with that.
Right.
I have a problem with what happens when she finally figures out that Barry Allen is the Flash.
She doesn't quite embrace it, does she?
She becomes fixated on Barry telling her, like, okay, you're going to admit it once and for all that you're the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry, this also frustrates me, so it's not all on Patty. Barry is just like, I'm not going to admit that. I'm not the Flash. Who's the Flash?
Mm-hmm.
So and then
because she's already shown that she's going to accept it.
Right. So in some, like, I've got to prove my point. Patty, like, as she's leaving town, she calls him up and says, "Oh, like in the middle of a train where people are around her," and says, "Oh, there's these gunmen are attacking. You better
go. She says fire in a theater.
Yeah, pretty much. And so you better get a hold of the Flash." So of course Barry races there to save the day. Bum, 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 bum. And Oh, guess
Like
what?
that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Barry. I was just like, I wanted to get you here, and guess what? I did. So therefore, I know you're the Flash. Ha ha ha.
Right. And it's a complete, hey, I yelled fire in a theater
Yes.
just so I could say, I told you so.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I am okay with her going off to do what she's always wanted to do.
Right.
That's fine. And I'm okay with them breaking up over that.
Right.
But
And I get why she's upset with Barry
of
because
course,
of keeping this from her and not admitting it. But
yeah,
that's
that
where
I
she
told you
that's
so at the end.
that's where she should have left it.
So vindictive
Yeah.
at the end.
It seems so petty
It does.
and dangerous to everybody around her because think of the panic that should have happened on that train.
Right.
I was
Bad.
drove me nuts.
Very bad. They write women so badly.
They do. And this isn't just on the Flash. It's on Arrow and even on Supergirl.
A little bit on Supergirl. It's better on Supergirl because she's a main character
Right.
and they have no choice but to write her better.
But still
They-
there are a
they
lot
just have moments.
they do have their moments.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They-
but it's just not as much as on Flash and the Arrow.
Right. And then the last point, Hunter Zolomon. Yes. Hello.
Yep. Surprise. Well, you had to know that where Zoom was, you had to know that Hunter Zolomon was going to show
Well,
up.
I was hoping,
Yeah.
but what a surprise that it's actually Jay.
The Earth One
Earth
version.
One.
Earth 1J.
Were you expecting that?
I was not, but I figured, well, I guess they want to save some money, so we're just gonna like make the bad guy turn out to be Jay.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool.
So here's a fun theory.
Yeah.
What if Jay Garrick is really Hunter
Hunter
Zolomon
Zolomon. And that's why he doesn't have.
pretending to be Jay Garrick?
Right.
And it's like, oh, I've got to go
Right.
at awkward moments.
Exactly.
Dun dun dun. Dun.
Yes, that's my thought.
Yeah. So.
And it's really not Jay Garrick.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame because I like the guy
I
playing
like
Jay
him,
as
yeah.
Jay. So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like him too. And he would know all that stuff about the Flash from Earth 2, the helmet and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So.
Interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, I kind of think that's him too.
Or maybe he like when Jay came over and then went away for a while. Maybe Hunter swapped places with him. You like that?
That could be it too.
You like that?
That could be it too.
Little swappy.
We'll find out. There's something hanky happening there.
Yep.
Definitely.
Tune in to future episodes of The Flash.
Meanwhile. So what do you give this episode?
Apart from that horrible ending with Patty.
Yeah. Let's hand wave that.
Yeah. The rest of the episode I liked a lot.
Was mind-bending.
So I gave it 9 out of 10 destroyed tachyon machines.
Since that was such a small part of the story, the Patty thing,
Mm-hmm.
I gave it 9.5 self-fulfilling prophecies because of that mind-bending.
Right.
Wow, this really explains so much.
Right.
And it ties everything all back in, and it's amazing how well they wrote that.
Yes.
So I gave it a very high score. So on to Arrow.
Yeah, real quick.
Yep. Arrow 411, AWOL.
AWOL.
Directed by Charlotte Branstrom.
Yeah, it's got umlauts.
Yeah.
Two umlauts.
Yeah. Whatever.
If you're German. Well, I took German. So
how do you say it?
it's probably Brandstrom.
Okay.
It might be Brandstrom.
Okay. And written by Brian Ford Sullivan and Emilio Ortega Aldrich.
Yep. That's a mouthful.
Yeah. So A story is That's How They Roll.
Right.
B story is Crossing the Rubicon. And the C story is Raggedy Ass Andy.
I like that one.
Thank you.
I like that one a lot.
So That's How They Roll is about Felicity.
Yeah.
And Felicity's back home.
You can just hear my exasperation.
Yeah. She's hallucinating her emo self.
Well, she ODs on pain meds.
Right.
So that her goth Felicity self from the past.
Death from the Sandman comics.
Yeah, pretty much. But comes up
she's wearing an ankh even.
So her goth Felicity self comes up to troll her.
Yes. To make fun of her for being in a wheelchair.
Just trolls her for
it's totally wrong.
And I'm just I'm just like,
yeah.
So essentially, it's okay. We get to see Felicity as goth Felicity again,
right?
Or I mean, the actress.
And instead of her being supported by the people in her life,
yes,
she gets trolled by a ghost of herself.
Right.
Which is so bad.
It is. It's
horrible.
It's painful to watch that.
Yes, it was.
It was.
So throughout the whole
episode, she's trying to come to grips with this whole thing. Oh, I'm a paraplegic now.
Right. But she's essentially demoralized.
Yep.
Through the entire episode until the very end. Mm-hmm. When she realizes that she can still be Felicity.
Yes. So the whole thing is she has her doubts and oh, guess what? I can be a contributing member of the team still.
At the end.
Yes, at the end.
Right. Yeah. So the whole time she's getting cut down, and then right at the end she gets to do her thing, which is worst.
Right.
It's really horrible. She should be getting built up gradually through the episode, but no, it's like this horrible turnaround right at the end. Okay, and then there's Crossing the Rubicon, which is this group of people from, and flashbacks good.
Yeah.
They were from the army this time, from Afghanistan.
Right.
From Diggles in the Afghanistan war.
Yeah, we get the Diggle brothers in Afghanistan.
Right. And apparently Andy was into some shadiness. Which we learned.
Shady. Yeah, it turns out to be this organization called Shadowspire.
Right. And
I have a quick little backstory on Shadowspire.
Okay.
Shadowspire is kind of like a really minor organization in the DC universe. First appeared in Deathstroke number 53.
Deathstroke.
Yeah. So basically this is and what they did is I guess they supplied drug cartels, weaponized viruses, just enough to, get something that Deathstroke would have to deal with in the comics. And that's basically, so they've kind of brought this in. Now I'm kind of wondering if they're going to have a Deathstroke connection on Arrow.
They're talking about bringing him back.
Yeah.
So
yep.
That'd be cool.
And with the whole thing with Hive, and wouldn't it be awesome if Damien Dark's wife turned out to be Adeline Wilson?
It would be.
As you've mentioned before.
It would be.
So it's all connected, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great.
How else would he be keeping himself alive? And we're going to be talking about him in a minute too.
Yep.
Damien Dark.
Yep.
Because he was on another show this week.
Yes, he was.
Okay, so we
Crossing the Rubicon.
See that. Yeah. We see that he was part of the Shadowspire organization, and then it carries over into present day where that same organization breaks into Argus.
Right.
And tries to.
They're looking for an access code.
On a thing.
They're looking for this Rubicon access code.
Right. So they hold Lila and Waller and a few other people hostage.
Right.
And I think it's the dumbest thing ever, but they convince him that Waller will never give up the information.
Yep.
And so, of course, they do the only logical thing. They shoot her.
Right. So
Amanda will give up the information.
They killed Amanda Waller just right before the Suicide Squad movie comes out. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I thought it was too.
So guess we won't have that confusion with the movie Suicide Squad.
Right.
Amanda Waller now.
Right. And what happens is before Lila has to do...
Just like we did with Deadshot, I should point out.
I know.
Because we just killed off
before,
Deadshot.
before Lila has to do anything, the two Diggle brothers end up working together. Andy convinces his brother that he can be trusted.
Yep.
John lets him out. They end up breaking in, saving Lila, getting the bad guys out, and saving the day. And then, raggedy ass Andy.
Yeah. That still cracks me up.
Gets out of jail free. Goes over to John's house, meets his niece.
Yep. Oh, so I know we had you in jail. Okay, I guess you can come over to our apartment now and meet my daughter.
Yeah, let's hug you and bring you right into the fold.
Yep.
In fact, let's take you down to the Arrow Cave.
Yeah.
And we also get Felicity's code name, Overwatch, in this episode.
Now, are you glad it's not Oracle?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think
Overwatch. I'm sorry.
I don't think Overwatch is a great name, though.
Overwatch is a game that's being put out by the Warcraft people.
Right.
So
but
I'm gonna
even
every time I hear it.
Even Chloe Sullivan's codename Watchtower on Smallville was better.
Yeah.
Than Overwatch.
I agree. Overwatch is dumb.
Yeah, it's not a great name. But and then there, of course, at the end we've got that nice little bit between Oliver and Felicity, where Oliver tells Felicity that, I know it's not healthy to live in denial, but I'll never stop looking for a way to make you walk again.
Right. And he makes a reference to someone flying, which, people are like, oh, that must reference the crossover. But Hawkman and Hawkgirl were just on.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's what they're talking about.
Well, I mean, he knows the Atom. The Atom flies.
Right.
So.
Exactly. So, and that would be a really quick way to solve it, would be to get the Atom's little
nanobots. Yeah.
Duh.
Yep.
And we never mentioned that did we mention the Flash and Supergirl's crossover? Did we mention that already?
No, we haven't mentioned that.
Okay. So, anyway, they're going to do a crossover.
Yeah, they're going to do a crossover episode. And
We've never mentioned that.
And it's going to be episode 18, not 20.
Yeah. Right in time for my birthday, March 28th. So, my birthday's the day before.
And what it is, Grant Gustin's going to be appearing on Supergirl, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they're explaining in this is that Barry has the ability to cross dimensions, but Supergirl doesn't because she's a girl.
Is that it really? They're not saying that.
No, but I'm saying that. I'm saying it's like, why can't Supergirl do
So that? It's a multiverse thing.
Yeah. So that way we get the CW crossing over the CBS. So
without really
this kind of enhances Supergirl's chances of getting a season 2 pickup, because there was rumors that was part of the deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we'll see.
Cool.
That'd be awesome.
All right. So what do you give Arrow 411 AWOL?
I give it 7.5, and I think I'm being generous about that. Burning goth Felicity photos.
Yeah. I said in my grade, gotta agree with you, ... 7, and I give it this because I'm questioning things. 7 Waller body doubles.
Ooh.
Because she would be someone that might put a body double in her place.
Well, it's not like LMDs with Nick Fury, but...
No.
Anyway.
Just wondering.
Okay. Real quick.
She'd be crafty.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow, Pilot Part 2, Glenn Winter, Phil Klemmer, Mark Guggenheim, Greg Berlanti, and Andrew Kreisberg, all the showrunners. Big Bong Theory.
Nice.
Knife and Magic Helmet, and other loots. And Boy Hawk Down for the 3 storylines. I know, I'm sad too.
That's all right.
Big Bang Theory is the professor going back to meet his youthful self. You like that, Big Bang Theory?
Yes, that was good. That was clever.
Thank you.
I like that a lot.
That made me giggle when I wrote it down.
You sure you weren't using a bong when you came up with that?
No, I don't do that.
All right. Good. Good for you.
It never did anything for me. I did it like twice on my husband's behest because he used to do it. It didn't do anything for me, so I went,
Speak
why?
into the microphone, Karen.
Why risk it for that? This was like 15 years ago, so I don't think anyone's gonna do
Fair.
it. Okay, so anyway, Big Bang Theory. They go back to get. Oh, I'm sorry. First of all, they go to Norway same
Yes.
year
Same year, right?
in order to track.
They're tracking down Vandal Savage. There's like a
Right.
warhead auction for terrorists.
Right.
And it turns out there's a special guest star at that
There
auction.
is wearing a Nehru jacket.
Yes.
Which was awesome.
Which was awesome because, of course, Damien Dark would be in a Nehru jacket.
Right. He looks like Dr. No, doesn't he?
Which I'm sure was the point.
I'm sure it was too. Yep. And there he was.
He just wanted him to put like his pinky up to his lip and go, "Hello, legends. I'm Damien Dark."
And he actually had a part too where he comes over and he's like, "Who are you guys? I don't know who you guys are. I've never seen you guys before. What's going on with you guys?" He was really cool in this, and I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
And of course he would be there and looking just the same because eternal life.
He's immortal, yeah.
Right. So that was fantastic. And it's great to tie him into being an arms dealer.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he would be.
Vandal Savage hanging out with all the immortals. They have like a secret club.
Right.
I keep waiting for the Immortal Man to show up.
Of course.
That's an obscure DC Comics reference.
Why not?
But,
why not?
Yep.
And really, honestly, there's going to have to be a John Constantine showing at some point. There has to be.
Here's hoping.
You know what? They're going to have to go to a bar, and his band's going to have to be playing.
Oh, Mucous Membrane?
Yes.
Oh, I would.
Please?
I would plots over that.
I know. That would be great, right?
That would be the best. That's just too much fishing. Okay.
So anyway.
I could
okay,
yes.
So they show up there, and they win the warhead, which they didn't really want to do.
No.
But they did, and Vandal sees through the ruse because of the professor saying something about them being at a different time.
So, of course, a fight breaks out.
Right.
And they had
on their head.
Yep. They had a cool moment where the atom pops out of Professor Stein's pocket.
That was great, right?
That was great.
And he flies across the room, and
yeah, he's all small, and I was just like, "Yeah, he's small."
And the fight scene was really good too, where they do like that shot where it goes around the room,
right,
and fighting all their guns, and you can see Vandal salivating at all the tech.
Yeah, he's just like,
and it's like, oh, a freeze gun and a fire gun and a tiny man.
He's like, I want that. I want that. I want that.
Exactly. And a man who's on fire and so many things.
Excellent. Excellent.
And
it's like Christmas.
Dumb Ray.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean dumb Ray.
Ray is so
careless.
Well, they're portraying him like a complete moron.
Yeah.
For being a genius.
Right.
And
he leaves part of his suit
me.
behind.
It frustrates me. It's like burn.
Yeah. Big time.
The Price is Right fail music should be the Addams theme music.
It should be.
Because he fails so often. In his head. He fails so often.
You know, some people have the circus music playing in their head. He has that playing in his head.
If I was an Adam fan, I'd be kind of pissed because
I would too.
Yeah, I mean, I am an Adam fan, but I'm not.
I am too, but
not a big Adam fan.
Right. He's not my favorite, but I like him.
Yeah.
So,
so he goes down, he shrinks down to deactivate this bomb.
Right.
All he does is speed up the countdown.
Yeah, duh.
So Firestorm's got to save the day by taking the bomb and absorbing the radiation, which was cool.
I thought there would be something more to that.
No,
but
Firestorm does that.
They were just illustrating.
Yeah, that he can absorb radiation.
Right. But before they end up leaving the area, Adam drops a part of his suit, which Vandal immediately seizes upon, and he terrorizes his scientists into trying to reverse engineer it.
And the next thing you know, They go
They
back.
have,
Well, they
yeah,
go back to the Wave Rider,
right.
and
And Rip Hunter
it's
says, "I
another.
told
it-
you so. You
It's
shouldn't
another.
have gone without me."
It's another glorious Rip Hunter rant.
Yes. Well, they decided they were going to go without him because he lied to them.
Right.
We can do things better than you because you lied to us.
And Rip is like, "Oh yeah, well guess what? You left some of your technology behind, Ray, and now Vandal
And
Savage has destroyed Central City in
here's what
2016.
the future looks like.
I
Yeah.
I hope you're happy now."
The future isn't so bright, but you still got to wear shades.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah. So let's go fix that. This is
So maybe you should have listened to Daddy, okay?
this is only a projection of what might happen.
Yep.
But if he does actually reverse engineer it,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be what happens. So let's get to it quickly.
Which one of us is the time master here?
Right. That's what he says, right?
Pretty much.
I am a time master. And the professor, of course, realizes that there's some sort of what kind of particles is in the suit?
There's some
What?
some kind of particles, but
Yeah.
but apparently the way to track it.
White dwarf particles.
Oh, that makes sense because it's white dwarf.
Right. A shrunken
star. Well, white
star.
dwarf star is what
Yeah.
makes the atom shrink. So yeah.
Right.
Comics.
So
Yep.
So
white dwarf energy, they call it, I think, or something like that.
he remembers that he was studying that in the 70s.
And he has the way to track it.
Right. So they take the Wave Runner to Pittsburgh, right? Isn't that where he is?
Right. Because that's where Firestorm's from. Yeah.
Right. So they take it to Pittsburgh and go and see him.
It was Ivy Town.
Is it Ivy Town?
It is Ivy Town. Yeah.
Okay, so Connecticut or where Ivy University is.
Yeah.
New York-y, Boston-y, wherever it is.
Wherever it is, yeah.
New England. So they go there to see him, and he is much different than they think. So they take the professor, because the professor would need to go.
Right.
And then he has to take Sarah and, of course, Jax with him to pose as like college students in order to blend in, which is hilarious.
And here's hoping the Blinovitch limitation effect isn't in play. Because if old Stein shook hands with younger Stein, and then boom goes the universe.
Right. Right.
They should have
Yeah, they really should have said something about that. Don't touch him. Don't interact. Don't do anything. But no.
Nope.
It worked out all right. Although there was a close call. Mm-hmm. A big time close call that Rip had to fix.
Yep.
So they go and talk to him. He hits on Sarah. And Sarah does this little happy dance. You find me sick. Don't finish that sentence, which I thought was hilarious.
Well, Sarah's just teasing.
She loves
older Stein, which I thought was hilarious.
Right. And she's also teasing younger Stein in a whole different way, which is also hilarious. Right. And Jax is like, you were awesome as a
younger guy.
A younger guy. Yeah. And then he starts hating the younger guy.
Yeah.
And they end up having to knock him out with this huge glass bomb.
And then older Stein is just like, what are you doing hitting him over the head? He's a genius.
Right.
You're going to damage my brain.
He has to set that clock so that he meets his future wife, which just happens to be that same night.
Because he's got to get to the enchantment under the sea dance because my wedding ring or a photograph or anyway, it disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. Enchantment under the sea dance.
Doc!
The mixer.
Doc. That's basically what this is here. Is just
I know.
Because I was like, oh, he's got to show up at a party.
Yeah, I know.
And if he doesn't, then he doesn't meet his wife.
And of course, it's conveniently the same night that they're there.
Yeah, which is
convenient.
Yes.
And so they take the white matter detector.
Yeah.
And everyone shows up all at the same time at this house in order to get the knife and the white matter and whatever. Well, they end up getting the white matter somewhere else. But Sarah gets that. It's out of Vandal's clutches.
Yep.
Then Hawkman and Hawkgirl go to get the dagger
That can
that
kill.
killed them.
Yep.
Because that's the way that they can kill Vandal.
Right.
So.
And then there's like a confrontation with
Yeah.
Vandal Savage.
Well, they go to steal it. Of course, it's Captain Cold that decides he's going to steal it. He goes, "So you want me to steal something? Okay." He doesn't even give them a minute.
Right.
He's like, "Okay, fine, I'll go." And he goes with Ray, and there's this whole discussion about the morality, which I'm hoping continues a little bit because Ray's there with him.
Right.
And he's there not only to steal the dagger, but they're going to ransack the place. Because there's no consequences for him.
Right.
In his mind. And Ray's like, no, we're here to take the dagger. That's it. I'm kind of the mind of Captain Cold in this case. Where you're going to steal the dagger anyway.
Right.
You're going to need money. Right?
Well, I'm sure Rip he's got money from every, time zone. You just pull it out. Like Doc Brown's briefcase full of money from different periods.
Yeah, so, I guess, but
I don't know.
Still,
but
you might want to be a little enterprising.
Yeah, so they get the knife.
So they
get the knife.
Bring me the knife.
Yep. And so Kendra and Carter go after Vandal Savage.
Yep. Vandal isn't having it.
Nope, because Hawkman ends up stabbing Vandal Savage with his dagger, but then
guess what?
Yeah. Vandal Savage kills Carter with the dagger.
Because it's actually Shiara's dagger.
Yeah, it turns out, guess what? Yeah.
Shiara would have to kill him with it.
Yeah, only Kendra can use it.
Right.
Oh, thanks for telling us that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, guess what? Yep. Hawkman is no more.
Oh, you thought Hawkman was going to be around. Oh, guess what? No, guess
he
what?
Is pushing up daisies.
Just Hawkgirl. So, yeah,
yep.
He's joined the Bleeding Choir Invisible.
That's right. Please pardon my phone going off in the background.
At least until he reincarnates and everything's okay. But
right. But he reincarnates as a baby. Isn't that how it happens? But they are in a time machine.
Right. Exactly.
So there's that.
Yeah, so there's that.
Right.
So Hawkman's been killed and brought back before as an adult.
Oh, I know.
So yeah.
There is precedent.
Yep. And
for
then
them together as an adult again.
And then Rip tells the team, "Oh, guess what? We're stuck in 1975 for a while."
Right.
And
so see a little bit more of.
And don't worry, Professor Stein. I encouraged Marty.
Yes, Marty. Which is hilarious.
Yeah. So Back to the Future references abound in this episode.
I encourage
to attend the mixer.
Right, and his ring.
And Marty kisses Clarissa, and Stein's wedding ring returns. Everybody's happy.
Yep.
The end.
Happy times.
Yep. There's our pilot. Yep.
And that happens later.
So rating.
I give it 8.5 careless atoms.
I give this one 8.5 as well. Disappearing people in a photograph wedding rings.
I like that one. Very good. Okay, so we have one feedback. It's not audio, so I'll read it real quick. Hi, Karen and Charles. Hi.
Hi.
Wow, what an awesome week of TV. Supergirl gets 9 out of 10 muffin crumbs in her hair. This episode had lots of historical and political messages. It reminded me of concentration camps and turning immigrants away from American borders. We are all different, but also the same. We face a lot of the same challenges. I really liked Lucifer, which is definitely a sentence I didn't think I would type. But it was sassy and fun. I give it 8 deadly dark angels. Can't wait to see the consequences of the devil being on vacation. And I love that the kid loves him. Agent Carter gets 8 flamingos named Bernard. I like this season much better. I wonder who Peggy's happily ever after is, since we know from Captain America that she marries and Sousa is moving on. Flash gets 7.5 false alarms on a train. I know Barry wants to protect Patty, but once she was figuring it out, he should have told her when he said he loved her. Yep. Can you please discuss Hunter Zolomon from the comic books and a timeline? And I got a timeline headache this week. Does Reverse Flash go in reverse? Arrow gets 10 doubting hallucinations. She went backwards on those.
Yeah.
Emily Bett Rickards has another stellar performance. I am so glad she is accepting her new situation with strength and grace. I worry Andy will be working with Dark, and now he is in Diggle's house with his baby. Worried. Legends gets 10 missing atomic parts. It wins the week as my favorite. The death of Carter will help this band of misfits gel into a team of legends. Will he reincarnate by himself, or does Kendra have to die with him? I am confused on that. Have a super week, Justina. And yes and no, that's complicated.
You can reincarnate separately.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
It can have a multitude of ways.
That's within their Facebook status.
Right.
It's complicated.
Yeah. Are you in a relationship?
Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to give feedback, http www.facebook.com/Fandom Zone Podcast. Our email is fandomzonecast@gmail.com, at Fandom Zone Cast on Twitter. And how can they reach you?
Real quick, at Charles Skaggs on the Twitter, and on Instagram, Google Plus for all you crazy kids in the Google Plus. Shout out to you, Karen. And Facebook, of course. My blog of geeky things, damn good coffee, and hot. And that's about it.
Okay, and I'm at Aliveria. There is a link to my About Me page, and my About Me page has a link to my blog, and my blog now has all my links on it.
Yep. Oh, so and quick update. I did hit 400 Twitter followers.
I saw that. I'm so happy.
At 400, so anytime now, of course, the spam bots will get cleared out, and I'll be back down to 396. So.
I'm going to keep pushing.
Okay. So, but
everyone needs to follow you.
Thanks to everybody who has followed me and continues to follow me on Twitter. I hope I am worthy of your follow.
You are. You need more.
Okay.
We'll need to get you more. So anyway, that is today's episode, and we have a new outro, and I'm going to play it because it is one of my new favorite songs. So here we go, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
He said that